ready. Hold tight.
Hold on to your hats, boys.
Libos.
Hello, good evening, and welcome to another episode of the Wednesday Week.
Just what the flipping Nora are you all lot doing?
I'm still in there. I'm still right behind him.
It was just a very well thought out tactical plan by Danny.
I want goal!
I can literally feel the steam coming out your ears.
So it's like a fun little post-game snack.
The Wednesday Week! Hello, good evening, welcome to another episode of the Wednesday Week. Tonight joining me, I've got Charlie, John and Stevie. Tonight, Sheffield Wednesday were in FA Cup action once again against Coventry for the sixth time in something like 380 odd days. So, no disrespect, Cov, but I'm glad to see the back of you for at least another month. Like, literally, I think, when have we got him? Is it 4 weeks, Stevie?
15th of Feb.
Sweet child of mine. Oh, God. And you know what? I mean no shade on this. Like, they're probably as sick as playing us as we are of them. You know what I mean? Oh, it's Wednesday again. Anyway, Chaz, you all right? How was your weekend?
Yeah, not too bad. I feel like I finally got that winter cold that I managed to hold off throughout Christmas. I feel like it's snuck up on me, so I've made that everybody else's problem, which is nice.
I've done 3 tubes of Barocca since the last week in November, and I've got what they could refer to in the game as Mr. Spock piss. So that's nice.
That's fine. That's probably fine.
Yeah, it'd be all right. That's what it's there from. Stevie, how was yours? You all right? Have you warmed up yet?
Yeah, my toes have just about thawed out from Saturday. Under freezing fog, I'm going to pretend that because I couldn't see it and it wasn't on TV, it didn't happen.
That is the rules. That is the rules. Odd kickoff time to say we weren't on telly. Did wonder that. I thought that was a bit weird. Yeah. John, how was your weekend? You all right, Bob?
Yeah, all right. Just hoping that we finally get this melting of the snow to come. Some of the paths are still pretty bad up our end. So
is it? Did it snow bad up there? Did it?
Yeah, Stocksbridge is always a bit like north of the wall in Game of Thrones. So you always get a little bit more up here. So yeah, but main roads are okay. Just paths are a little bit dangerous. So it's not good when you've got a dog that wants to pull you everywhere as well. So.
living in that London, they don't get snow down here. It's just cloud and being cold and negative equity. So listen, welcome to the show. I hope everybody's all right. Don't forget, if you want to get involved in the comments down below. Don't forget to press like and subscribe. Don't forget to ring the bell. And tonight we've got our handles on screen as well. So if you want to give us a follow, if you're not doing it already, get involved. Charlie's DMs are not open, so I thought I'd warn everybody about that before we get started. So listen, once again, we're playing Coventry City in the Cup. Like I said in the intro, we are sick to death of playing Coventry. Chaz, we wanted a showbiz team, didn't we? I'd have took Man City away.
Yeah, I mean, because that's always the thing, isn't it, with the cup is the entire point of it is that you're not going to win. Like, let's be really honest. Therefore, you might as well enjoy it while you're in there. And with the greatest of respect to Cov, and it's not just about it being Cov, like, haha, we've played them a million times. Kind of getting any championship teams kind of a bit like, like you either want somebody much lower down that you think, oh yeah, this could maybe be a cricket score, or you want like a big draw team. Playing somebody that you're already going to be playing twice is like just the worst possible outcome. So yeah, and it's kind of funny that it was Coventry again, but not really. Like, not funny enough that I actually wanted, like, not funny, haha, but like it is weird that we do keep.
Yeah. You sit there and go, oh, wouldn't it be funny if we play? Oh, we did.
Oh yeah. It's not that funny actually. It's cold and far away.
What does Simon call it? The soulless bowl. Is that what he calls it?
Yeah.
Spendog Millionaire. I'll get I've got the graphics ready. I got some bits ready. I can't find them because I've forgotten how to use this program. I've not been on for 2 weeks. I've not done a show in like 2 weeks, and I've forgotten how to do all this podcasting nonsense, even though it's been 15 years. So here's the lineup. We went with you're on mute, by the way, Stevie. We've got Charles in goal, Valerie Otabeo, Bernard, Lowe, Shalaba, Charles Ingleson, Masaba, Gassama, Ugbo, and Danny normally shuffles his pack for cup games, but I feel, Stevie, that this was it's one of our best starting 11s, isn't it? Like, there's you know what I mean? There's not really, with the exception of probably Charles in goal, right?
Yeah, there's not many you'd swap out from a standard Saturday afternoon there, is there? And I think there was, I've seen some bits about there being people being labelled as fringe players up here. A couple of fringe players missing out. I think I think that was actually when they were explaining Valentin, Palmer, and Patterson not being involved. Smith, forgive me, Michael Smith not being involved. Yeah, calling them fringe players. So the rest of them, if you look at that lineup, there's, I'd say, at least 6, 7 of them there have either played regularly or are involved in the first team squad on a regular basis. And I was all right with it, to be honest with you. It made me feel that he was taking it seriously, and I thought it was a good opportunity for us to progress. I think everything being said, for all its fallacies, if you like, a cup run is worth it just for the money that you can get. And I know obviously we're speaking with hindsight now, but if we could have progressed into the 4th round and then potentially go beyond, who knows what would have picked up in terms of a revenue stream. So when that team was announced at 5 o'clock, I was more than happy.
Yeah, John, returning back to the fray, as it were. You've got Kabatsky coming back in there, Michael Ehekwe after spending out a decent amount of time with injury. I'll come to you about Michael Smith, actually, Charlie, in a second. But those two specifically not been in and around it. McNeil on the bench as well. Nice to see him strap a shirt on. I still feel that there should be more game time for somebody like that.
Yeah, he did. Rule said leading up to the game, didn't he, that he wasn't necessarily just going to give players minutes. He had sort of a way of thinking like, well, I might make changes, but they won't be wholesale changes. I want to test some things out, but I'm not going to make sweeping changes. And obviously, the team sheet pretty much reflected that. With obviously Charles coming in, but a lot of the others. Like you'd see in a normal match day. McNeil, I thought this might be an opportunity for him, but he does seem very hell bent on trying to get Ugbo going, doesn't he, Danny? He's really pulling out all the stops to try and get him going, but it's just not happening right now. So McNeil dropped to the bench for this. Well, McNeil sort of was on the bench for this one, but yeah, I know I totally get where you're coming from with McNeil. It might have been an opportunity for him, but. It's still mission Ugbo at the minute, isn't it? Trying to get him a goal.
Now, I'm going to put this out to the comments. Like, when do we just give it up as a bad job with EK Ugbo? Let's get your comments in. I want to know all about it because I asked a group chat last week after he missed his penalty, and I wasn't on that show, so I wanted to try and go. There was an element of Meslier for Leeds absolutely fluffing his lines. There was a screen grab of that. And his defence are absolutely tearing him apart. And I put it alongside our team picking up and reassuring Ugbo after his penalty miss. Now, ethically, I know which team I prefer to be on. But I guess the question I want to ask out there in the comments is that the difference between winning mentality and giving it a bash? Do you know what I mean? So I will come back to that. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Chaz. Stevie's just referred to Michael Smith as a fringe player.
I know. It's tough, isn't it? Because he obviously has been so good and he's contributed a lot, but he's been quieter as of late. But I'm obviously very biased because I'm partial to a Michael Smith, but it's very interesting.
That's because you licked him once after he equalised against Norwich.
Him. I couldn't quite get. He's quite tall, but I feel like there's just something about Rawls sort of saying like with Ugbo and the penalty, and he sort of made, without saying it directly, he was kind of like, we don't give handouts here, we're not giving charity, you earn your place. For me, I think like for him to then put Ugbo in like the starting lineup for this game over Smith, I'm like, over the course of this entire season, Michael Smith has contributed far more, and I just think like, I don't know. I'm not. What were you expecting to get from Ugbo in this game that you haven't seen in any of the other games? And if it is a question of being like, oh, well, we're giving other players a run out, where was Palmer? Why didn't McNeil start? So I just, for Smith not to even make the bench, for Smith not to make the bench over Pato, I was a bit like, again, like, I like Patterson, but you've just got to look at the season as a whole. And for me, I think it was a bit harsh on Smith. He might be resting him. Like, I'm not going to start getting conspiracy theories with it. I think it's good that people don't just get played because of, some kind of agenda or whatever, like you have to earn your spot. But Ugbo does just seem to keep getting played no matter what. Like, no, I don't know.
Maybe he's resting Michael Smith for Leeds. I mean, coming up, we've got Leeds United, and that for me it's a bash it up to smudge type of game, right?
Definitely. And I'm not trying to suggest that, like, it's so easy to read things into this, isn't it? And be like, oh, who haven't we seen in a while? Oh, there must be some big controversy going on. And like, there weren't many surprises in the starting lineup for me overall, but I was surprised to look on the bench and not see him, I must admit. And the same for Palmer. Like, we'll probably talk about that more later, but there's a few notable names I would have thought would at least make a cup team. So yeah. Poor Michael.
I did have I've thought about this as well, and it's probably unfounded, but like with we're in a transfer window, and you're thinking, right, Danny's going to want these players, and he's going to ask the chairman for money, whether it's a loan or whether it's a full transfer. And if he wasn't playing Ugbo, and Chansir turns around and says, "I gave you 2.5 million for this geezer, and you're not even playing him," then does it affect going forward, making more signings? So is he like playing Ugbo just to sort of like appease the chairman and say, look, if he wasn't playing him, could that be an issue for the chairman, given how much money he's paid?
I would also say that Ugbo is not the penalty miss is obviously now going to hang over him, and there have been a few missed goals, but he's not otherwise like a hazard on the pitch. Like, he doesn't drag things down. He's not involved. He's not sort of not contributing. But I guess the argument would be that you're not going to score without minutes, but other people feel like, when they've had a few rough games, they've been withdrawn after a bit. Like, Roll gives them a bit of a chance. He maybe gives them 2 chances. But then, let's be honest, he cycles people out. He cycles them back. Whereas it just feels like Ugbo never gets cycled out. Yeah. I don't know. I just, maybe he just really likes him. And I get that because I really like Michael Smith, so I'm biased. So, I don't know. He's Ugbo biased.
Go on, Stevie. You look like you're going to add something there.
Yeah, I was just off the back of what Charlie was saying there, in terms of him coming out and carrying the weight of the penalty miss with him. From a psychological point of view, I think it was a no-brainer. He had to play on Saturday. I genuinely believe that. If you look at it, Coventry were missing a couple of players as well. I don't think they were at full strength. I think an FA Cup game with relatively low stakes on a Saturday evening, with what you'd expect to be a smaller crowd than, with due respect to Coventry, because it's the FA Cup, a smaller crowd than you'd expect him to be playing in front of. You take him out after him missing that penalty and then stick him back in against Leeds, for example. We've got Burnley coming up after that. I think we've got a trip to QPR, which is going to be as tough as the other 2 games that we end up playing, by the way. We've got 3 really hard games coming up. I think an FA Cup game, given our priorities and where we actually want to be at the end of the season, is probably the ideal game for picking him. It's a no-brainer, and it's only with hindsight that we're saying, why do we keep playing him? Because he didn't score.
At the risk of sounding like a bit of Adrian Durham radio again, TalkSport generating comments and people getting involved in interaction, I don't care. I don't care how he feels. I genuinely, if this is a multi-million-pound business, this is a multi-million-pound entertainment industry. That's what it's for. We spend all of our hard-earned money, you know what I mean? More some than others, and some have been doing it for years, to give somebody a bash in case his feelings are hurt. Not interested. Not bothered.
Okay.
Yeah.
But to be fair,
there's an editorial for you.
On the back of that, though, jokes aside, you're a massive NFL guy. You're into your NFL, your American sports. John is too. I'm an NBA basketball guy. Everything that we do in terms of the way that sport is being presented in the UK nowadays, your stats, your metrics, the way that it's delivered on TV, it's all coming from over there, and it's a matter of time until we get more and more people doing the analysis, and we'll get more and more law changes. And we talked about it privately in the LMS group chat yesterday. It was quite interesting listening to James Kay talking, to be fair. We are changing the game, but I think it's a matter of time until we get somebody that's going to come along and start looking at the psychology of it in a little bit more detail and a little bit more depth. I think even now it's still very much in its genesis, its infancy. But people would come back at you there and talk about how we must manage Ugbo, and we've got to do it in a certain way to get the best out of him, because, like you've just said, it's a multi-million-pound industry, but this guy cost us multi-million pounds,
and we've got to get the money out of the investment. I completely agree, but also all this, I hope he's all right. Honestly, when people are saying to me, what type of headspace is he in? Is he okay? When I hear people asking those questions, this is what I hear in my head. That's what I hear.
Dan, you're not being sensitive.
I know.
You need to be
It's
a new
like
modern male. This is
it's
the
like I
thing.
grew up in Yorkshire in the 80s. Stevie, let's have a look at these comments. I noticed you've started a few. Let's get through some of them. See what the people are saying and how much grief I'm coming under for trying to give a different opinion.
No, you're doing all right, mate, to be fair. We've got a couple on Scotch 24. The CBS Stadium is our second home away from home. Jay Bloggs has been on. At least we won't see them for at least 6 months following the next game. You say that.
Hey.
Season start. We're probably getting first game of the next season.
When it made me laugh if Chad Seary just after this fans forum goes to Bobbins, like he just goes, I tell you what I'm going to do it all. I'm going to have a pre-season friendly at Coventry with Coventry. What about that? There you are.
2 leg.
Yeah. Go get him
Home and away. Home and away. Glenn Sky Blue Hub has been on, just mentioning Piers Charles' performance. We'll get into that, no doubt. Thought Piers Charles did well. Bannon ran the show once he came on. Shay Charles is a shithouse, but a class midfielder. And think if you bring 3-4 players in, you'll have a push at the top 6. Thunderbird.
Oh, go on. What's that?
Sorry, last one. Thunderbird. Owls v Coventry is English football's Dr. Manhattan meme.
Oh, what's the one? I'm trying to think of the meme. Charlie, you might know. What's the Dr. Manhattan meme? The geezer from Watchmen. I can't remember. Is it the one where he sat on Mars? I don't know. It's really weird. You know, you've got a meme that you like. Yeah, I love that. That's great.
See, for me, it was you'll know this one, Fudge. For me, the Coventry game was like, remember in Friends when Ross has to try and be friendly with Mike and they sat there having a beer, they got nothing in common. He leaves, but then he comes back and he's like, we played Coventry game, but you left. You know, you left. You played him again.
I enjoy that.
We have got one more question for you, Dan. Neon Brown. Dan, does having missed a spot piss give your porcelain bursting superpowers on piss chiseling front?
That's so my bio, if you're not aware, my bio and Twister used to said celebrated piss chiseler. Now, if you're not aware of piss chiseling, Charles, I'm gonna educate you up here. If you're in your home and usually a spoons, and someone, I need to try and fart around the poo with the language on this, and someone has left a
around
mess.
it in this case.
Yeah, I might
Pissed
around the shit on this. So if someone's left a mark, I feel like I'm doing my civic duty to use my extraction as some kind of personal jet wash and just clean that out for you.
Ladies and gentlemen.
And then he used to find it funny.
Week, and if you're eating
award-winning pisscast. Welcome. Take a seat. Make yourself comfortable.
I used to walk up to I used to walk up to the bar staff when I was leaving and go, just piss chisel trap number 4 for you. So you're welcome. And then I'll leave. So no, it hasn't. If anything, it's made it more potent. Thank you, Neon Brown. I tell you what. Is anybody talking about Ugbo on the comments, Stevie?
Yeah, we've had a few, Sharman. Ugbo will come good, and when he does, he'll be like a Primehursty monster.
Oh, I love your optimism, Sharman.
Paul Peruga, I think that we are not playing to Ugbo's strengths. He is more of a poacher than a hold-up man. Masaba was doing the biz for him last season, but he's not been playing either.
I agree entirely. I don't think we're playing the football for Ugbo because he had what's his face? He had Pervader. Had a great link up with him. Pervader was servicing him the way he liked to be serviced. And because we've got Masaba out of sorts and Gassama down the other side, not really giving the ball up, and Windass not playing the same game as Pervader, Ugbo's not getting the service that he used to. And I feel like there's an issue there. Whereas we are playing decent attacking football for somebody like Smudge, who will elbow a man and put the ball in the back of the net.
He'll kill for a goal.
Kill.
I think.
Then finally, we've just got Scotch 24 again. Apart from his penalty, how many good opportunities has Ugbo had to score in all the minutes he's played?
I remember one at home not long ago. What was the last one I went to?
Terrible header.
Yeah, there was a 50p
head. A bit of a harder to miss than to get in. I remember.
And then
that.
there was another one a week later where he kind of fluffed his lines inside the 6-yard box. There's been one or two, and don't get me wrong, I think this falls back into Paul's point about him having the service. I don't think it's the same as what he's used to. But I always come back to the fact when somebody's had a load of clubs and they're prolific in bunny rabbit ears, are they actually prolific? Why would you sell a prolific striker? Do you know what I mean? Why would so many clubs bin out a prolific striker? You know, it's like Danny Ings. Like, if he was that good, why does he play for so many clubs?
The big question.
I think we made a good point about Masaba and the link-up play with Ugbo, because they played together in the Belgian league, didn't they? So they had an understanding of each other's game there, and it's not always, particularly this season, that's not always been available to him to be playing together. So
he's getting a bit better though, Masaba. Last couple of games, just a little bit. He's had a couple of goals now, and I think Gassama's drastically improved, but I think both of them were starting to see him, and maybe that is it. Like maybe that's just what he needs. He needs a buddy.
Shall we talk about some football?
Yeah,
go on, man.
There's not a lot gone off. Ergo, a lot of fart dancing. John, there was an early one come down the left-hand side for them. First off, goalkeeper saved it, and then they scored. Right, that was the second thing that happened in the game. So there was a set piece from a corner. Is that right?
Yeah. It was another corner, another panic stations moment for us in his own box, defending a corner or a set piece, as you will, and bobbling around. Their man's quickest to it, just swivels and gives it a good old lash, and keeper's got no chance. He's that close. Only about 6 yards out, isn't it? And yeah, it's another disappointing goal. And you know, I thought we were getting past this, but it's rearing its ugly head again, isn't it? These, you know, we've got to be one of the worst in the league at defending corners, and we're struggling across into the box. And we brought that set piece coach in, but you know, I guess you know, to coin a phrase, you can't polish a turd, can you? You know, we are struggling really bad in certain aspects of our defending. And perhaps now thoughts and focus turns to whenever Mr. Chansiri does come over and they start whipping up planners who to bring in, that we're now shifting focus from strikers to defenders, because you can't win games if you start chipping it, you know, start losing goals like that. You've always got a mountain to climb, and if you've got aspirations of pushing up onto that top six sort of places, then we've got to be better than that. We've got to be tighter at the back than that. So yeah, another disappointing goal, and got to get better at that.
It was a proper shit League One goal, wasn't it? Just people just swinging boots at each other because it's inside the penalty area. A couple of comments there, Stevie. I noticed you starred from Glenn and from Jay.
Yeah, Glenn's come in, obviously Coventry fan that's joined us. Awful set piece by Cov, which dropped the kitchen to twat it into the net.
That's literally what happened. That was it.
Yeah. And Jay's responded to that. Kitchen was lucky to still be on the field, either straight red or 2 yellows. I can see the merits of what he's saying, old Jay there. It was difficult at the time to sort of see it, because it was down the far end of the pitch, and obviously I'm right up in the gods. But it did look like there was, you know, it did look a little bit touch and go for the fella. But I don't think Kitchen obviously being on the pitch scoring the goal, but I don't think that was sort of the worst of our issues or most of our concerns in terms of the goal that they scored. John referenced panic stations. The problem that I've got with that is that I don't think we panicked at all. I just think we were totally switched off. We're miles away from it. You go back and you look at it, like Lado's just said, it was a poor set piece. I don't think it was a poor set piece. I think if we were putting balls into the box like that, we'd be quite pleased. Although, having said that, it's hit an area where I'd expect a defender to go and attack it and get it away just on the 6-yard box. And we're known now for this zonal defending. It's just hooked in and it's just bypassed everybody. And we just seem to be 2 yards too deep. And they had a player against Chalobah who has held Chalobah off. And when it's dropped, it's allowed Kitchen to just smash the back off it.
Just give it the beans, didn't he?
Yeah.
It's all he did.
Otig Bayo's just stood in no man's land going,
Je ne pas de gaye. That's what he did. Yeah. That's French for I do not have my textbook, which ironically is the only French I learned. Chaz Beans, it's half time. Chaz Potatoes, it's half time. At this point, we're 1-0 down. Are you sat there thinking, oh, I don't want a cup run. Bollocks to it. You know, we'll be all right. Sod it. And then obviously 49 minutes later, you were like, yes, we're winning the FA Cup. I don't know who wrote that. But you know what I mean? Was there a point at half time where you were sat there thinking, yeah, sod it. It doesn't matter.
Yeah, a little bit, because I think there's also like the haha, we've gone a goal down, have we? I can't wait to come back and win kind of thing. And there's still a little bit of element of that. It was very early to concede that first goal as well. So like, you know, you had the entire rest of the game to do something about it. And the longer we didn't do something about it, the more I was like, good. This is boring. Maybe the cup is boring. Maybe winning football is boring. I'm bored, and I imagine it's very cold and foggy. So it was just like, I think like Holly put in the chat, like, please don't equalize, just like this misery end. And it's like, yeah, who wants another half an hour of this? But then, of course,
Don't get
you
up.
do get another half an hour. Woohoo! Just kidding. I love football, and I think there's nothing better than a last-minute goal. Even if you don't care, it is funny. And it's funny in a way from a Coventry perspective, because can you imagine if we were in that position, we'd scored early on, and then had managed to, like, not concede for, like, almost the entire rest of the game to then concede that equaliser right at the death. It's objectively hilarious. It doesn't even really matter about the outcome of the match. That is quite funny. Like, it's funny to have done what you've done your bit really early and then just kind of sat back and it's all been fine and nothing's happened, and then like bookended goals is very funny. But yeah, I would have happily not seen it go to pens. I think that's the thing. It's like either win it in normal time or don't bother, because everybody hates pens. Everybody hates pens. They're the worst.
As it stands, win it or don't.
Win it or go. Just
that's
win,
it.
win football, that's all I ask.
Win it or go up. We've had a comment there, Stevie, saying fudge, support a proper team in blue and white, Billericay Town, and then Butley's best striker to latch on balls onto the left. I feel like somebody knows a lot about me there, and he's had to come up as YouTube user. That's we'll come back to that one. Now,
there's a reason I didn't star it, mate.
Yeah, isn't it? Yeah. So, if you're an ex-girlfriend, sorry about that. So listen, we're in. Sorry in advance. We're back to second half. I've got Coventry break down the right hand side, and then it was a double save, Stevie. So the first one I felt was textbook save. Still a good stop. Don't get me wrong. He's come out, saved it, but that second one, mega stop, right?
Yeah. I know you're quite harsh on goalkeepers, and I mean no shade on that, and I'm not mentioning anybody else, but he should have saved it anyway. It's the old Roy Keane. It's his job, sort of thing, isn't it? When it comes to goalkeepers making saves, I thought the double save was outstanding. I did, and just as an aside, I said in the group chat, we've had a little bit of an argument in terms of the man of the matches. Piers Charles was excellent on Saturday. Did absolutely everything that he needed to do. Bloke's only made 3 saves. Do you know what I mean?
At the risk of siding with the goalkeeper on this one, brace yourself, kids. I thought the best thing about the second save was that after the first one, whether people had just shrugged, they'd seen this striker come tearing in to absolutely smash it into the onion bag. Everybody else just stopped. Everybody else just stopped moving. Nobody else reacted, and only Piers Charles in that moment went, "Nah, bollocks to you. I'm going to go out and give this a good go." And he did, and it paid off for him, a fair play, because I think everybody else on the line, everybody else marking their man went, "Oh, that's 2-0 then, isn't it?" I felt that was the mentality at that point.
At that, honestly, I can tell you now, he's made the first save, and it was like brilliant, great save. Being in there at the time, what a save, fantastic. And then it's ricocheted and it's come out. And it was like, it's one of those, you know, when time stops and you just know there's an inevitability that it's going to go in the back of the net, it's going to be 2-0. And in that sort of moment, and I know it was literally 2-3 seconds, I'm sitting there thinking, there's a curry house around the corner, I could go and check that out. I could be out of here, it's freezing fog, job lot, blah, blah, blah. And honestly, the save came, and then all of a sudden it was like, we're going to fucking win this. We're winning
the And at this point, playing Coventry again didn't matter anymore. Like, you know what I mean? John, I'm gonna come to you about the next thing. I know disallowed goals, but there was the shot from Bannon. This had the opportunity to be an absolute mega goal, didn't it, John? That was a good stop from their keeper again. Look at me, that's 2 keepers I've been nice about this season. Quite literally, jot that down.
Who is this guy?
It were a shame when again we'd be having his own goal of the month competition again, wouldn't we? If Bannon, if that goal is
he's having it with him and Windass, isn't it? That's it.
Him and Witness, isn't it? Yeah, and then Smatter and a Michael Smith, isn't it? It's yeah. They just, but yeah, it just weren't meant to be. But yeah, it would have been a tremendous goal if it had gone in. But yeah, it's. I think we've paid, we've banked a few goals a month contenders, so we can sit back and rest assured. For now, we'll if we don't score another one this season, we've already got the winner, haven't we? We win that anyway. So.
Yeah, we're getting that Pushcast award this year, and then so Sheffield Wednesday got back into it a little bit. Chaz, now half time we weren't bothered. Well, it don't matter. It don't matter. It don't really matter. We're all right. We're going out. We ain't gonna play Coventry again. It's fine. And like Holly said in the group chat on the day, oh, imagine if there's another half an hour of this. Right? Then, what was it? 93rd minute? Is that when it was?
Yeah.
93rd minute.
That sounds right.
Ball comes in, Chaz. Then what happened, and what mental shift did you do at this point?
Well, we were winning a lot. It was the comeback of the. Frankly, it's probably Sheffield Wednesday's best injury time goal.
Greatest ever goal ever.
We've never scored a better goal.
Whoa!
Best goal ever.
Whoa!
Yep.
Jab. No, I'm kidding. Yeah, it was great, and it was a really, really funny goal as well, because it was so like the Bannon shot. That's your equaliser, or that's your winning goal. Do you know what I mean? That kind of like nice little like smasher. This was like flow. It just kind of. He sort of like controlled it and sort of bonked it in. Like it was really low key. He barely even celebrated. He was like, yeah,
of course, mate. Of course.
And it was funny because it was like not at it was at the opposite end to our fans as well. So like obviously you can hear. I mean, if you watched it muted, it's hilarious because it's just like everyone's like. Even our players look a bit sad. Oh, fuck, we've got to keep playing.
Yeah, and that's it. You've said that, Chaz, because we've had a comment there from Glenn, the Coventry fan that sometimes pops on, and he said, "I booted the chair in front of me and turned the air blue." Now, Glenn, I want to know why you turned the air blue. One, because you'd conceded and you're a bit mardy about it, or two, that there was another half hour of this football to happen. What, you know what I mean? That's why Masaba didn't celebrate. He's gone, oh God, we've got to play this.
I genuinely thought that they'd ruled it out for offside or something, because there was no celebration or anything, was there? He just kind of like trundled back to halfway line. I'm still thinking, have we scored? What's going on? Because I've never seen anyone that's sort of disinterested at scoring an equaliser. Obviously, because we didn't want 30 minutes more. Coventry did, we? But you left. But
yeah. Stevie, were you annoyed about that because it was cold, wasn't it?
I was just about to say it was the biggest juxtaposition of a goal being scored that I've ever seen in my life, because for all its sort of merits or lack thereof, the game was what it was. And I think we've got the stats somewhere. I don't think there was a significant difference between the two sides. But the goal, I thought we controlled it second half. More majority of possession. Shots on target negligible. Goalkeepers, two saves one save in between them. Corners, nothing in it effectively. So you can see there that it wasn't much of a game. But I think in the second half we sort of stepped it up a little bit, and I think we were controlling it, and we justifiably equalised, if that makes sense. I think we were value for it, and at that point,
I think a draw was It should have been a draw. It was that type of game, and to go out on penalties, you kind of go, is what it is. Right?
Yeah, the goal went in, and it was like you guys have said, it was almost like everybody on the pitch went, oh. But the Wednesday fans were absolutely tearing about, and then Masaba's turned around, and it's the most low key, understated goal celebration for a 93rd minute equaliser I've ever seen in my life. And then the ball was put on the spot. And 200 blokes ran down the stairs to go to the toilet. Another 30 minutes. And I was like, I need to go too.
And the bars are always shut as well for extra time, aren't they? Ridiculous. Now,
can I just make a quick point about extra time as well? If they scrapped replays, haven't they, for the FA Cup, and there's all this hoo-ha about Tamworth losing out on revenue for not getting a replay at the Spurs Stadium, etc. So if they're scrapping replays, especially in early rounds as well, what's the point of extra time anymore? Why don't we just go straight to penalties?
I agree
Very, very
100%.
good.
Let's not play any more football. Let's just get a
Just
bloody
go
winner.
straight
For
to
the love
penalties.
of Christ
Even
on
Tamworth would have had
toast.
a better chance, wouldn't they? Going straight to penalties
Yeah,
than having to
absolutely
go
right.
to 30 minutes extra time where they're going to go up against Spurs, who are fitter, stronger, faster. They're going to have to. They're eventually going to crack, aren't they? Another 30 minutes added to the game. So if you're not going to give them the dignity of a replay, especially in the early rounds, why don't we just skip extra time and go straight to penalties?
That's I agree
1,000,000%.
wholeheartedly, John. I really do. I think that's the correct thing to go. Now there was a wonderful picture here of Danny Rule after Masaba just before we played extra time, and I think this is a great picture. This look at Danny there with his arm around Masaba, congratulations. But you've got to look at this picture even closely. In the background there is Spanty Ingleson.
Why?
Summing up everything, everybody's thinking at that moment in time. You know what I mean? He's got his head in his hand. He's going,
Brilliant.
Please, I'm so cold. It's foggy. I hate this.
I don't know if that was when that photo was taken, but I felt that was the perfect juxtaposition, because I feel like Ingleson wasn't on the pitch at that point. As Paul Fruge just said, I quite like golden goal.
Yeah.
I'd love to do a poll on that one, Paul. I think you're in a small camp there, sir. Where are we? What's happening? What we doing? Right then. So went to Penners, and Stevie, tell us about. Sum up the penalties for me in 3 minutes, if that.
Yeah. First of all, they were booing. There was booing in the ground, and I know Glenn's on, and he might stand me corrected. Obviously, if you go to the game, the end that we're at is almost split mid-goal. So you've got the Wednesday fans to the left as you look at the pitch, and then you've got the Coventry equivalent of the T1 Massive on the right-hand side of that end line. So then you'd think logic would dictate that you'd put the penalties there, but they decided they were going to go down the far side and where the Prawn Sandwich Brigade. And again, Glenn, if you're listening, I'm paraphrasing and making sweeping generalizations about what I observed as an away fan. It was much more calm on the top end than it would have been going into this end. Having said that, you can obviously see why Coventry have taken it the other way, but it was a bit of a shame that their hardcore fans and our fan base were miles away, and there was a little bit of booing around that, to be honest with you. But we stepped up, and we went first, didn't we? We took the first penalty, and you know, when they missed their second penalty, I believe it was that Charles saved. Forgive me, I've not looked back properly, and the highlights haven't shown it. They missed the second penalty, and you were thinking, right, we're all right here, and we're going to get something out of this. I don't want to dwell, and I did star it, and I thought I'm going to avoid the whole debate around Jamal Lowe. Did he have a bit of swagger around his penalty that he skied? Yeah. It weren't great, you know, but they've obviously had one that they've missed as well. But the other penalties around them, I thought Shea Charles' penalty, excellent. I thought the other penalties that we scored largely were fantastic strikes, and there was nothing that you could do about them. If you want me to mention my feelings on Charles, I'm happy to do that now.
What, the goalie, Charles?
Yeah.
Yep, crack on.
Absolutely outstanding, deservedly man. Well, I thought Shea was better, to be honest with you, over 90 minutes or 120 minutes. I thought he was everywhere in extra time, and that absolutely ran his blood to water. But Piers Charles he did nothing wrong. He couldn't have done anything with the goal. The penalties were excellent, but we're talking about a kid here that, God bless him, if he were 3 inches taller, we'd be in the fourth round of the FA Cup.
Yeah, because let's be honest,
he got down, didn't he?
He was closest.
He was right.
He was closer to the Coventry penalties than he was to the Brentford ones. Let's be honest, because Brentford, we may as well have not had a keeper. You know what I mean? But there's a great comment there from Glenn saying it's criminal for a penalty taker not to hit the target. I completely agree. What are you doing? And then I'm going to proffer this one to you, John. Olaf Kabatsky had not played enough football to warrant taking a penalty. I don't know why he's in the list of players that were on the pitch, knowing that, you know, you had a group of players on there that I'd have said should have been taking penalties.
Yeah, to be fair, when Olaf came on, he was pretty much a source of frustration for me for the rest of the game. You could see, I'll be kind and say he was very, very ring rusty. He was making mistakes. He was losing the ball quite a lot. It wasn't.
Sorry. I'm not letting you get away with that one. Get the bin. Ring rusty.
Ring
The
rusty.
boxing ring.
Oh.
Like, is that what you mean? Is that what it means?
Is that what it means?
Yeah.
Like...
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay,
The lack of game
swiftly.
time was evident, and I even for me it was very much a source of frustration. Kept giving the ball away. I thought, what's he brought this guy on for? He's not up to scratch right now. He needs some time in under 21s or something. And I even said out loud to my wife when it was penalties, I said, he'll miss this. There's no way he's scored in this penalty. I'd put our mortgage on it, and
John's
sure enough.
fault.
Bang.
And now you got evens on the mortgage back, right? You did that. You've now paid next month's payment as well. And so Sheffield Wednesday, thusly because Olaf Kabatsky put his shoes on the wrong feet, bless him. I'm not laying the blame square at his feet. But a lot of people say that. So Sharman's put up a comment there, if you're listening to it, saying Olaf had the minerals to step up, others didn't. I think we are long past writing on the back of a fag packet and getting the lads there going and right, who wants a penalty. I think there's a plan in place. I don't think that's the world anymore. I think they go, who can take penalties, who's on the list, and I think someone's chosen him to take that penalty and gone, Olaf, you're up. And I don't think it's a feedback session going, I don't fancy it, boss, because that's his accent. You know what I mean? I don't think it's that anymore. I think there's more of a plan behind it. I think you could have said that 10 years ago, 5 years ago. You could have gone, well, he's stuck. He's got up to take one. Unlike Jordan bloody Rhodes.
I was going to say, unless Jordan Rhodes, yeah.
You know what I mean? But I feel like there's other players that have taken penalties and they've been on the pitch. But any road, let's move on. Now, I need to give you a warning because it's that time. It's that time for the part of the show where you hold your fingers in your ears and we go. Hot topic! I don't know why I like it. It's crap. So today's hot topic, I'm going to go to you three and I'm going to open this out to the comments as well. It's based on what we were talking about and a few of the comments we've had in tonight, talking about a hot property that we've got under our wing. We discussed it before in a Q and answer session. But we are talking about Pierce Charles. Do we have Pierce Charles? Do we keep him? Do we loan him out? Do we sell him? Snog, marry, avoid on Pierce Charles. But in the meantime, before we get to it, here's some adverts. Thank you, Stevie. I forgot to do the adverts. Okay, so let's get to the hot topic. Stevie, I'm going to come to you first. We're talking about Pierce Charles. Snog, marry, avoid. Sell, keep, loan.
Keep.
Show me your working.
Keep now. I don't think we sell him yet because I don't think we would get the money that he would be worth in a year's time. I really sorry you said loan as well. It's a caveat between the loan. I'd keep him and I'd loan him out and I'd loan him to a team that play the style of football that we play. I wouldn't sell him at the minute because I think he's going to be a much more saleable asset once Beadle goes back. And I'm firmly on the Pierce Charles train, even though I've said everything about his height. He will do a fantastic job for us next season, provided we've got a manager in at the club next season that will play the style of football that serves him to play to his strengths. He is the best goalkeeper, and I say this without hyperbole. I've seen him 5-6 times, and I know that's not a lot. He's the best goalkeeper with the ball at his feet that I have seen in British football in 25, 30 years. You look at Jordan Pickford, who's the England #1. You look at people, and I know the game's evolved, you look at people that play in football, he is absolutely world-class with the ball at his feet in relative terms. He is that good. And I think for that reason, he can bring a decent whack of money in that can help make this club more sustainable in a year, 18 months, 2 years' time.
Would you, sorry, my headphones cut out there. Did you say a loan in there as well?
Yeah, keep him, loan him out.
John?
#1 next year.
#1 next year? Hang on, hold the line, caller. Number one next year. All right, I'm going to make a note of that. I'm having you on that one, Stephen.
25-26 season, and unless you're going to, and we're not going to get Beadle back. I like Beadle. I like him a lot. And as good as Charles is with his feet, Beadle's got another 6-7 inches on him. From my point of view, I wouldn't go looking for a replacement for Beadle because I think Charles is the one, and I think it's time.
Go on, John. Snog, marry, avoid.
I would also keep him. I don't really see any sense in letting him go this window. If you get an injury to Beadle, you're then looking at Hamer, who hasn't played. I think last time Hamer played, he had a beard like Moses. I mean, he's clean shaven now, isn't he? So I wouldn't. Then you're looking for a replacement for Pace Charles as well. I think you would keep him and evaluate it next season, whether you think then is worth more, or whether, like Stevie said, he's then actually pushing to be the number one, regardless of, I'll even say, I know it's a pipe dream, but regardless of which league we're in. That's about that.
All right. All right. Chaz, go on.
Loan him. I think we should have loaned him already to a certain extent. Like, I think at least of early January, he deserves to play more football. He impresses every time he plays, and at the moment, the majority of what he's playing, if it's not international, it's cup games. And I think I definitely agree. I think he can't change his height unless he can. Maybe he can. I don't know. I'm not a doctor, but it's unlikely. He's probably not going to grow anymore. But what he lacks there, he makes up for in other things like his distribution. And I think it's the same kind of logic with like CADs in like, we want to profit in some capacity off this young talented player, whether that be financially in a couple of years' time by making money off them, by selling them, or by having them as a regular member of the squad. And I think either way, he deserves to have had at least half a season of like consistent game time. So I think loan him. I think someone put a comment up earlier, but like recall options is not a bad shout. If you got like a bit of a clause in there about something to do with injuries, is not bad. But I think it's a shame for him to just be on the sidelines week in, week out. So I would loan him immediately.
I think we're all on the same page in terms of what to do short term. I think you're right. I think a loan is what we need. However, I would not drop him. I would sell him like third period French in the summer. Because I think if he went to a League One club, he would absolutely tear it apart, and I think he'd be brilliant. However, my concern would be the level that we'd loan him to wouldn't play to what Charles is good at. I don't think they play nice, well-footed keepers. Do you know what I mean? I agree with Stevie. I think he's outstanding with his feet, and I think his stock is high, and I think he's great. And when his stock gets so high, we sell him and we become a proper business. And the reason I'd say we sell him because he's such a good asset is that I think that there are more James Beadles available in other Premier League clubs, and we can just get another one. Just get another lad in on loan who's probably better than Pace Charles, who's been around elite footballers, and I think we'll find one. It wouldn't even surprise me if we get Beadle full-time or we get him again. Reason being is he's not Premier League quality right now, and I don't think he's going to be by next season. It wouldn't surprise me if we get him again. It really wouldn't, because it's football. It wouldn't surprise me. But I think that there are other keepers out there that are better than Pace Charles in elite football clubs. So what we're holding on to him for, let's cash in, let's get some money, but let's loan him out and get his stock high up for the summer. What about that?
Let me use a betting analogy with you that's just popped into my head, and I'm not disagreeing with you. We're on the same page with it all. However, from a timescale point of view, if you've got a bet on and you know something is 90%, 80% a sure thing, and you cash out on 48 minutes, or do you let it ride? What happens to that cash out? It gets higher and higher and higher. So for me, if he goes second half of the season, I'm not sure he will, to be fair. It's what I'd like to see, but I don't think he will. If we loan Charles out to, I don't know, Wickham, for example, and he goes and plays football for 6 months, his stock goes, like you've just said, Dan, and then he comes back in the summer, and then we go, right, we're going to sell him, and we get 5 mil. Fine, great job. If he comes in and is our number one next season, and I don't think there's that much between them, and I don't developmentally can't say that be between him and Beadle going forwards. The height is a thing. The height's a huge thing. But for me, if he plays a year with us in the Championship or higher next year, and we can get 3-4 times what we've got for him if we sell him this summer in a year's time, then surely that's better business, and we ride it and we cash out a little bit later.
I don't think the cash out will be that high, though. I don't think it'll raise that much from where he is now. I don't think it will. I think he's still going to be a goalkeeper playing for a middle of championship team. I don't think we're going anywhere, and I don't think we're going to do enough. I don't think we could afford to strengthen our squad that much. If anything, I think we'll be a bit worse off because we won't have Shea Charles, and he's clearly our best player. And I feel that we're looking at 14th, barring some absolute mega signings. We're looking at 14th next season as it stands right now. Obviously, there's a lot could happen there. So, you're kind of basing that on whether the chairman's gonna back you in the summer. So, me personally, I'd generate some funds, get another lad in on loan who's at a similar level to Beadle, similar sort of part in his development, and then cash in on Charles, the international goalkeeper for Northern Ireland that we've got that people are looking at, and people are going, well, why aren't you playing him? Because James Beadle's better. And he's about 6 inches taller and all, you know what I mean? And we've got that British bullshit where our goalkeepers have to be a certain height.
Ash is on. He's here now, and literally said that before it even pops up. He's in my skin. He's raised the point. What if he goes out on loan and has a shocker? Dawson went out on loan and was Exeter's player of the season, and he doesn't get in the lower end League One team. I get that. I understand that, and I think there's merits to be said. But I think we're operating on another level with Charles now. I don't. We
are, but hang on. My earphones kicked out again there. Sorry, Stevie. So put Ash's comment back up there. So what if it goes out on loan, has a shocker? Dawson went out on loan and was Exeter's player of the season, doesn't get into a lower end League One team. Cameron Dawson, integral goalkeeper. And you're right, we are operating at a better level than where we were back then. And I feel like we've got more clout being where we are as a club to bring in another James Beadle. Like it was the under-23 Spurs keeper, who's the under-23's Arsenal keeper. This is where we should be looking, and we should sell Pierce Charles and look at those players. That's where I feel we should be. If we've got a progressive coach that can play these young kids and get a tune out of them, let's do it. Let's get it.
This is your hot topic. I started to talk about Ash, and he runs the socials. Let's get it out there tomorrow. Let's see if we can get a poll up. Pierce Charles, what we're doing with him, and we'll word a poll and we'll get it out on all the social medias.
I'm getting ruined here by Dunderberta. Yeah, he's fudge. Shut up. I feel that's another defense of Cameron Dawson, who's not getting in the Rotherham team. So listen, let's get out and do some any other business, ladies and gentlemen. Let's talk about some things. Is there anything that I missed, Chaz? By the way, is there any other business that I need to speak about that I didn't put in the list?
Look ahead to Leeds. Look ahead to Leeds.
We can look ahead to Leeds. What about you, John?
Just a quick note, you may have seen in the news or on your socials or whatever that we've got till Wednesday for Southampton to decide whether they're going to recall Shea Charles or not. If it goes past Wednesday and they don't recall him, he will stay with us for the rest of the season.
Honestly, I'm not emotionally ready to let go of Shea Charles yet.
No,
I don't
not now, not ever.
He is literally our best player.
We are going to do an entire show. I'm calling it. Even if I have to sit here on my own and just talk about it.
We're doing an emergency pod and have people bring up.
Emergency pod on the end of Charles, the end of Shea Charles.
We'll call it Shake on Me, and that's what we'll do. So also you will have also seen in the media that Josh Windas's father, Dean Windas, has been he's not been very well, and it kind of got announced the other day. And me personally, I went on a bit of self-reflection because I used to find some great joy in laughing at some of his what referred to at the time boomer tweets, but now a lot of that seems to be justified somewhat, and I kind of get it. So I wish you all the best, Dean. I know you played for them, but you also played for us, and your lad scores us some goals. So from behalf of us at the podcast, I hope you're not in pain. I hope you pull through, or I hope it's not too shabby for you, pal. And secondly, Rio Shipston has gone over to Ireland for some reason to play Sunday League football. Has any what's she gone there for?
Like holiday, innit?
It's an odd one, isn't
Change
it?
of
That?
scenery.
But we do
Guinness.
sometimes loan our players to
Yeah.
these obscure teams, don't
We
we? It's like,
do.
have you
It's usually
noticed that? We're like,
Celtic.
such and such just signed for Bognor just till the end of the season. You're like, what? Where? And this lad's gone to Cork City, hasn't he? But yeah.
It's good. It's all good game time, I guess. But it's a bit like, did we answer the phone and we were like, hello? And they were like, it's Cork. And we were like, oh, hello. It's just a bit
Hello
random.
there. We're ringing
know.
up about the player there. Can we have a lovely little? Yeah, I can't understand him either. Well, we like the player. Yeah, whatever. Yeah, give me some money. Take his wages. Yeah, that's absolutely fine. See you, bye. And I reckon that's probably it. Like, you know what I mean? It's not really going to free up a load of money.
No, but it's nice for him to
but
presumably
it's business,
nice for him. I don't know, to go and play out there.
It is if he likes Guinness.
In
You were going to
Bonnie
add something there, Stevie. I felt like you were going to add something.
On Rio?
Yeah.
Or just in general?
Just in general, mate. Just say some things if you want that. You know what I mean?
Two other bits that you flagged out. We'll leave the last one to the last. We've got what's happening Wednesday. What's it called? Wednesday. Where am I going? Chairman's Fans Forum.
We got that between.
Yes, ladies and gentlemen. Thanks, Ash. Coming up on Wednesday, we've got the Fans Forum where the chairman fronts up, and I must admit, fair play to him for doing this, but I still feel like it's him trying to get the last word on a lot of things, and whether he takes something away, I don't know. It's also been well publicised that anti-Chansiri denier Rob Oldfield is also going, so brace yourself for that one, kids. And I feel like it could be another 7 hours. You know what I mean? I don't know how it's going to be. Is the pie and pea supper involved this time, Stevie?
Oh God!
Apparently so. So Ash is going, and I had a chat, and he's gone right. I'm going to go for the podcast, and I've gone. Do you know what? It's Wednesday. I think it was New Year's Day or the day after that.
God, he's got you well there, Ali.
I'm going to come with you. So me and Ash are going to go along, and we're going to share some pie, mash, and hendos, and we're going to sit and watch the Royal Rumble of Chansiri.
I tell you what, you know what would absolutely make my life is if he goes, Trevor Braithwaite comes out and says, "Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the chairman." Everybody stands up, and he goes like this, and then he goes, "Are you all right?" And I'm like, "Get in!" He watches the show. You know what I mean? If he does an impression of me doing an impression of him, that'd absolutely make me life. That'd make me life. Chaz, coming up is Leeds United. How you feeling about that?
Oh, poo in my pants. It's scary. I think the Borough game, when it was all going so badly, and I remember my cousin saying, would you a battering? And then obviously it was 3-3 and it was great. But I'm really worried that this could be our battering. I really don't want it to be, but I feel like, and it shouldn't be like a shock. They're above us. They're probably going to get promoted. Like they might even get promoted as champions. But it scares me because our ability to ship goals is unbelievable. And the only good thing is their goalkeeper's shite. So in theory, it could be like 4-4. Because they'll score loads past us. But hey, we might score loads past them. I really don't know. It could be carnage. I'm very worried about it. There
is an element, John. I'm coming to you being a man of a certain vintage, and I feel like we could go up there and just absolutely shithouse them, and just nil it out. You know what I mean? What do you reckon?
I think there's a uniqueness to being a Wednesday fan is that when you think you're going to get absolutely pasted, you'll go and do something out of the ordinary. You'll go and get a victory, or you'll go and get a draw, and then it's the games where you expect to win, and you drop a 50 burger. You know what I mean? It's like I think you can do it. They are a good team. They are flying. I understand Charlie's reservations completely because we have been really dodgy at the back, and especially if they start pinging balls into the box, it's going to be like the Alamo at times, I guess. But Wednesday have a habit of doing that. When you think they're very much an unpredictable club, and it wouldn't shock me if we went and got a draw there, and I'd absolutely snatch your hand off for the draw at Ellen Road the way that they're going.
Oh, absolutely. Listen, that's all we've got time for this week. Bang on an hour as well, kids. What about that? Steve is going to ruin it. Go on.
Last man standing.
God, I even had a graphic ready for it, didn't I? Sorry, yes, ladies and gents. This one's important. I know you're on the way out, and I know the equivalent of me saying, that's it, see you later, and then calling you back for another thing is just like the teacher trying to say something to your class while you've already got your bag on your shoulder. No one's listening to a damn thing. No one's doing their own work. Stevie, I'm going to put the graphic up, talk about it, talk about the gambling.
Friday is the start of the Last Man Standing 5. Mentioned it last week. I'm not going to spend too much time. It's out on all the socials. We've had a couple of queries, DMs. If you look at the graphic, if you're watching on YouTube now, where my hand is, you can see it's £10 entry. Okay, I'm going to move up there. You can see the jackpot is 70% of the money that we receive, but 30% of that is going to go to our community initiative. Down here, where I'm pointing now, is the information that you need. All you need to do is pay £10 into that. Pay Ashley Rogers, not me. I'll take the money, but Ash will deal with it. Jokes aside, it goes to a good cause. Once you've done that, you will, if you add your number, your mobile number to the reference, you'll be added to our WhatsApp. All the information is on there. It's a great crack. We talked about it a little bit earlier on. I've mentioned it before. That community is getting bigger and bigger and bigger. We've had maybe 7-8 new people that have joined in the last week or so. Prize pot at the minute is around about £400. £375-400. We're somewhere in that sort of ballpark. It will go up, and it will go up once the game goes live, because a load of people will go out in round one. Last time out, it was £602. If we get anywhere near, that'd be absolutely fantastic. If we exceed that, even better. More money for you, more money for us, and a great experience with the numpties that are in that group, because they're all fantastic people.
And yes, they are numpties. Stevie, thanks a lot. And listen, it is quite fun. Do get involved for a prize pot of £600 just to pick a few football games and to get holy boo at you if you don't pick Sheffield Wednesday. It's actually quite worth it. Listen, thanks a lot to John, Charlie, and Stevie tonight. Thank you for you lot getting involved. Thank you for the comments this evening. Don't forget, this will go out as well, so you can comment on it going forward. But in the meantime, namaste.
Every week, live from 8 p.m. It's the Wednesday week, bringing you football analysis.
He came in. I think he scored a goal.
Bringing you banter.
Yeah.
Bringing you responsible life hacks.
Met you wonderful souls at 10 a.m. for some shots.
The Wednesday week. 1, 2, 3, 4 live. Available on all social medias.
Obviously, this goes out on YouTube and as well as all the other social media out there for podcasts, etc.
The Wednesday week 24-25 season. Join us.
Put on your podcast.